welcome back to the channel. This is Hunter from Outtenastrophotography. It has been a little bit since I've done a video because of a lot of things that have been going on here in about the past month or so, dealing with some not very favorable conditions whatsoever when it comes to, doing astrophotography. We've had snowstorm after snowstorm. We've had high wind events, in fact, damaging wind events, which actually done some damage here on my property. Lost a couple of some shingles off of my house. I lost part of the roof to my shed that I was not expecting to happen. Neighbor has a tree right through his fence, all during a span of about 5 minutes. Power poles down, you name it. It has been a very bad month of February when it comes to doing anything in regards to like astrophotography. And then the icing on the cake of it all, I've come down with COVID. Escaped it for the past 5 years, and now it's finally hit me, which really does scare me. Although I am doing okay right now. I'm about day 5 into this as well, but I am very severe immunocompromised. And luckily, this is more of like the milder variants, but it's still pretty darn brutal to say the least. Well, with that said, we actually have the chance for some clear skies tonight, and I'm finally able to actually feel kind of well enough to be able to actually start filming some videos and stuff again, because we got a lot of cool upcoming things coming up. And one thing I wanted to mention, that NEAF is right around the corner, roughly at about a little over a month or so, and I'm actually going to be at NEAF this year on April 5th on the Saturday. So if you happen to be at NEAF, come say hi. I'll be glad to say hello to you and be glad to meet you. But for tonight, we're going to be going after a galaxy, since pretty much we are entering galaxy season now. And this one's a little bit cool. I've never actually done this galaxy before, and I could probably just do this in one night. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Sunflower Galaxy, but this one's located inside of the constellation of Ursa Major. And this is NGC 2841, or the other name for it, known as the Majestic Disk Galaxy. Now, where this is in the constellation of Ursa Major is actually right around the front paws of the Big Bear. It's pretty easy to find too, especially there is a lot of surrounding galaxies around this target in general, which is really, really cool. So I'm trying to see if I can capture all of them all together. And with the amount of nighttime that we have right now, I could probably get about 10 hours of data, which is pretty good for a one shot and done. So let's see what kind of equipment we're going to be using for tonight. I definitely got to say, it feels good to be able to actually put this back up on the pier for imaging sessions, since it's been like over a month. But we are going to be using my 4-inch Explorer Scientific 102 triplet refractor with the ZWO AM5 strain wave gear mount with my homemade pier, which eventually, hopefully this spring, I'll be able to finally build the observatory around this whole entire pier. But imaging camera-wise tonight, I am going to be using the ZWO ASI 2600 MC Pro, which is a one-shot color camera. Inside of the filter wheel here, I am going to be using a light pollution filter tonight, since the haze has been a little bit bad, especially over towards my north as of lately. So this is going to help a little bit too. I'm going to be using the Optolong L Quad Enhance. And of course, I have been playing around more with the ZWO CAA camera rotator. Still trying to work out a few bugs and issues with this, where it likes to rotate around 360 degrees and doesn't take into the effect of, potentially cable binding. So still working out those kind of details. And of course, controlling everything is going to be the ZWO ASI Air Plus. Guiding, going to be using the SV Bony 60mm guide scope with the ZWO ASI 678 Mono, which is my guide camera for this entire setup. So we have a little bit of some time before hitting nightfall, before we start doing some polar alignment. Let's go ahead and get ready to set up our image sequence for tonight. and talk about a brand new sponsor to the page. If you want some really cool astronomy gear swag, be sure to check out Lunar Limits. That is today's sponsor. If you love the night sky as much as I do, why not wear your passion for the cosmos? Lunar Limits creates high-quality space-inspired apparel designed by stargazers for stargazers. Every piece of clothing at Lunar Limits is made with comfort colors, a premium garment dyed fabric known for its soft, broken-in feel right out of the package. These shirts are 100% ring-spun cotton, offered a relaxed fit that's not only comfortable for everyday wear, whether you're out under the stars or just relaxing at home. Lunar Limits isn't just about clothing, it's about celebrating the universe. Each design is thoroughly crafted to showcase the beauty of space, anywhere from constellations, galaxies, to breathtaking celestial events. Plus, these aren't just your generic mass-produced designs. You're getting unique, one-of-a-kind, stargazer-approved apparel that really stands out. But what really sets Lunar Limits apart is their mission. They're not only just inspired by the stars, they're working to protect them as well. A portion of every purchase goes to the Dark Sky International Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to fighting light pollution and preserving our night skies. So when you buy from Lunar Limits, you're not only just getting an amazing shirt, you're also helping our skies keep dark for future generations. So why wait? Upgrade your wardrobe with clothing that is as comfortable as it is meaningful. Visit lunarlimits.com and use the code Outtenastrophotography at checkout for an exclusive 15% off of your entire order. Thank you for Lunar Limits for sponsoring today's video. Clear skies, Lunar Limits, designed by stargazers for stargazers. All right, it is nightfall. We got our ASI Air open through BlueStacks. Let's go ahead and set up our image sequence for tonight. So I'm going to go over to the plan mode here. I'm going to select those three little lines, and we're going to be adding our target, which, like I mentioned, it is NGC 2841. Go ahead and confirm that. So where is this in the sky? Well, we're going to have to backtrack here for a moment and go over towards the Sky Atlas. And there it is right there. As you can see, it is right in the front feet of the bear. So it's pretty easily to find. There is some very bright stars that are right near this region too. There's actually several galaxies in this field of view that we're going to be able to pick up as well. So we're going to have a nice little tree. Now, dealing with this kind of focal length of about 714, since I'm using a 1x field flattener, I'm going to be doing 120-second exposures using the Optilong L-Quad Enhance filter. And the repeat wise, well, depending on how many that we're going to be looking at, I'm going to do about 300 for tonight, because this should last all the way until about morning, which it definitely will. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK, and we're going to see what our first image will look like. And there we go, we have our first image here, and this actually frames it pretty well, even though I'm not really using too much of a super high focal length for galaxies, but you can see it has a decent core. You can see a little bit of the spiral disc shape here just with the single frame in general, but all in all, everything looks pretty darn good. I'm excited for this. You can also see just a few hints of some background galaxies that we're going to try and break out into this too. So we're going to let this run throughout the night. I'm going to go ahead and stack the data, and I will see you when we head into Pixinsight. Alright, so we're now in Pixinsight. We've already gone ahead and stacked the data, and I got as much as I thought it was going to be, which was just under 10 hours of broadband data. Had no clouds throughout the night, so that was also very helpful. Still not feeling the absolute greatest dealing with COVID right now, but we're still going to press on and process this galaxy here. So right off the bat, we're going to do a unlinked stretch here just to kind of see what we're working with. And already we got some great details in this galaxy, and it exactly as I expected, looks very similar to the Sunflower Galaxy, just a little bit smaller and a little bit less dim too. But also looking at everything here, we got a lot of background galaxies to work with too. So this is actually pretty exciting here. Never seen so many galaxies in one field of view, especially for just, picking up one random object here. There's also another big cluster of galaxies that are super far away that are look almost redshifted too. Also got this very bright orange star, which is really cool. These two galaxies are really neat. So the data for this is 2x drizzle because I do want to just really focus in on the main galaxy in itself. So that's the first thing we're going to do. We're just going to go ahead and just crop our image here of where we want to start working with the galaxy in itself. So we're going to call this right here. I do want to include those two big stars. Maybe I don't. So something like this, still including those really cool galaxies that are just down below. Get the nice field of view going on here. Just get it just right. And there we go. We can call that good right there. Yes, I'll have to re-plate solve this image because of the cropping I've done, but that's a really good framing right there. But luckily we have some wonderful tools from Astro that we can just go ahead and use this and be able to plate solve for us blindly with Blind Solver 2000. So we're going to let that run through the process. After that's done, we'll be right back here. And just like that, we now have a plate solved image yet again without having to really do anything. So first thing we're going to do is a bit of some dynamic background extraction. I'm just going to use Graxpert because this image already is pretty good and flat all the way across, but I just want to make sure that it is, easier said than done. So we'll go ahead and let Graxpert do its thing. Usually I don't really have any qualms or issues with Graxpert. It's only when it comes to like dark nebulae and very, nebulous filled backgrounds is when Graxpert kind of struggles a little bit. When I'm just doing galaxies, Graxpert does a pretty darn good job, and just like that, no complaints whatsoever. So after that, we're going to be going with some Blur Exterminator after that. Using the default settings here, I'm going to do the correct only first so we can get our stars nice and round. And then we'll do a little bit of some stellar sharpening afterwards. There we go, we've run Blur Exterminator. I'm going to show the before and after because you can really see the amount of detail that gets picked up there in the center portions of the galaxy here. So this was the before, and that's after. Before and after, and it shrunk down the stars a little bit. So those look pretty good. Now, normally I would use Noise Exterminator after this point in the linear state, but I'm actually going to wait because of the brand new update, the version 3 AI model actually works pretty darn well, like right near the end of your processing. But the next thing we're going to do is our color calibration with SPCC. Go ahead and open that up. The QE curve, which I use the Sony 571 sensor here. Go ahead and find our filters, which is the L Quad Enhance for all 3 of the RGB channels. Go ahead and run that. We'll take a moment here after it goes through the Gaia processing. There we go. We are all color calibrated now. And before we get to the stretching, I'm actually going to remove the stars beforehand. Reason being because I want to process and stretch the stars myself manually rather than doing one of my automated stretching scripts that I have, either GH Stretch, HT Stretch, or even Easy Processing Suite. You have SETI Astro's set of stretching scripts as well. So there is many different ways that you can stretch your data all manually. So I'm going to put the stars up to the side here. And then I'm just going to go ahead and try the GH stretch usually sometimes does pretty well with galaxies here. See, that's not too terribly bad, but if we compare it to one of these other automated scripts, and it looks exactly the same pretty much. So we're just going to run off of this here. So as you can see, we got some good detail in these galaxies, and you got some more of the sub-galaxies here. So the main thing we're going to be working on right now is the color. And the easiest way I like to do this is actually extract the luminance layer in itself. So right there, so we're going to extract the luminance, and I'm just going to use the luminance as a mask in itself. Go ahead and hide that, open up the curves transformation. And I'm just going to keep taking this saturation bar, and I'm just going to keep stretching it little by little. Also adjust a little bit of the colors and stuff too. I'm just getting the overall surrounding galaxies right now. Just do little tiny bits through there. I'm going to stop with the luminance mask one because things are starting to turn a little bit more like magenta, and I don't want to have a really huge magenta galaxy, even though this is a little bit more on the oranges side compared to some of like the Hubble views. But I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that mask there and open up my range mask. And this is where I'm going to make my own mask there for the galaxy itself. Get some of the background, blur it out a little bit. So then I can actually start messing with the overall colors for this. All right, so got our mask going, having it zoomed in. Let's see if we add blue, it's starting to turn this more like purplish color. So I have to get the blend of colors that I would want. See, like that looks pretty red overall, but I tone this red down just a smidge. Looks pretty good right there. And then just continue to slowly saturate the galaxy. Tone down the reds yet again a little bit to have more of that blue to shine through. Take out some of the green because the green looks kind of very strange with some of these. There we go. Overall, that looks pretty darn good. So I am satisfied with that color there. Another thing that I like to do as well, I actually like to run another iteration of Blur Exterminator, but this is more focused for the stellar sharpening of the galaxy itself, where I can just go over to the stellar adjustments, turn the sharpened stars to 0. This is a little trick a good buddy of Pete taught me how to do this. Take away the automatic PSF, and you kind of have like a vague idea of what your PSF of your image is. And going back, it was like around 3.2, and I take the sharpened non-stellar to about halfway at 0.5. Run that over, and we should see a little bit more detail in the structure of this galaxy there. And there we go. That looks pretty darn good, I have to say so myself. So cool. That looks really good. As far as the background wise, to see how much darker that I can make it. But before doing that, this is where the noise exterminator will start coming in. So going to be using the brand new version 3 AI, and the settings, surprisingly, I like to use is I check the intensity color separation. I know there's a whole video from Adam Block and Russell who designed this product itself has a super in-depth way, but I've definitely found just using the denoise intensity all the way, denoise color all the way with 5 iterations does a pretty solid job here. So I'm gonna let that run real quick. There we go. We have perfectly denoised, but we actually preserved a little bit more of the detail in the overall galaxy too. So, but you can see in the background, it is a bit on the brighter side. We're just gonna go ahead and go to the transformation tool, histogram transformation, and just bring down the shadows a little bit on the background. That should be good right there. Excuse me. Now, this looks pretty good. We're going to go ahead and go over to our stars, and we're going to go ahead and stretch our stars. And I found that the best way to do that is actually through another one of Astro Tools, which is the star stretch. Go ahead and do a fit to preview to show the preview of what you're working with. Because some of these stars were a little bit on the bigger side. I'm actually going to take the stretch amount down to about, I would say 3.5. And refresh the preview. It's pretty good size there. I don't mess with the color boosts and such like that. I do that on my own, but the stretching of these stars is pretty good here. So that looks good. Before we start increasing the colors, I like to do a little bit of some SCNR on the stars. I do it on the regular background side here. And then I always like to do it in the invert too, because it gets rid of these weird green hues that are around the stars. Because I had people ask me, why do I do 2 levels of the SCNR? One just regular on the image, and then on the invert is to get rid of the green halos around. So there we go. We got rid of the green. Go ahead and do a bit of a star mask so we can increase the color saturation of our stars, make them shine, make them nice and colorful. There we go. Open back up our curves transformation tool. And then we're just gonna start bringing up some saturation here. I'm usually a little bit more aggressive with my saturation because I like colorful stars. And there we go. That should be good right there. Okay, so we have our starless image of the galaxy. We have our stars. Let's go ahead and combine them together with this recombine script here. Create a new image. And there we go. We got a mighty fine view of a galaxy right here of NGC 2841, known as the Majestic Disk Galaxy. Now, if you want to know what kind of tools and stuff that I use to process this image, I'll leave all of those Pixinsight scripts and where to find them down in the description below. It felt great doing another video again. I just wished I felt a little bit better. So hopefully in the next video, I will be back to my own happy self and hopefully get some more clear skies ahead because of the new moon that is coming around here very shortly. And also, thanks again to Lunar Limits for sponsoring today's video. Pick up some wonderful merch as well from this wonderful company here based out of Alabama. And as always, clear skies. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.